Greetings from Kigali, Rwanda. This is Purity Momo from the East Africa Philanthropy Network. And these are the Ubuntu Stories of Impact. Today, we are launching a very interesting series. Guess what? We are featuring our remarkable members across East Africa. And to start us off, are our members based in Rwanda. To kick things off, we are joined by someone who is deeply involved in this nation's community development. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. Eugene Ribasira to this platform. Thank you and good evening, sir.
Good evening, my pleasure being here.
Thank you so much. How are you doing? Long time.
Good, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
And you?
Very well.
Welcome to Kigali.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Mr. Ribasira, it's a pleasure to have this conversation with you.
My pleasure.
And to start off, I want to discover the heart of Rwanda Development Organization, which is the institution that you lead, right? I believe it was born out of a vision of sustainable development,
Yes.
where Rwandese are in control of their destiny, right?
Yeah.
So maybe could you shed some light on what inspired the inception of Rwanda Development Organization and how this vision has evolved over the years?
Thank you very much. Like you said, Rwanda Development Organization,
Yeah.
RDO, was born in 1995
All right.
after the Tutsi genocide in Rwanda. The way we evolved is that by then we had so many displaced people,
Yeah.
the returning refugees and displaced people within the country.
All right.
So here the biggest issue was how to settle them. So we started with accommodation to ensure that everyone that is in Rwanda has a shelter. So the shelter was our first program in RDO. However, as we evolved along, we realized that you can't have shelter without food. This is how we jumped into agricultural development so that the people in Rwanda were able to be food secure and they were able to have food on their table. So this is how we came to that. But then, as you know, there are so many global changes, including the climate change. So we realized that you can't promote agricultural development when you can't protect the environment. So this is how, again, we jumped into another program of environment protection. Nonetheless, you can't be into development when you are not healthy. So we realized that we need to go into health issues so that we can also protect the lives of the Rwandans. So these are the programs that we do.
Yeah.
However, given the vulnerability of several groups of people in Rwanda, including women, this is how gender promotion and women empowerment came into being. And all that collectively, we could not do it without institutional capacity building. So these are our core objectives that we espouse, and this is how they have evolved over time. Yeah.
And that paints a very good picture of empowerment.
True.
So, yeah, how then do you ensure that the mission of RDO aligns with the broader development goals of this nation?
Of course, whether you like it or not, everyone operating in this country is aligned to the national development priorities. So we also go with it.
Okay.
And in so doing, we align with different sectors.
Yeah.
Like in agriculture, we are aligned to the agricultural sector, in health, likewise in the environment protection. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. And considering RDO's emphasis on food security, as you mentioned, how do you ensure that these initiatives are long-lasting and sustainable?
We have a proverb between English and Kinyarwanda that instead of giving me fish, teach me how to fish.
Okay.
So for us, what we do is that we develop the capacities and skills of the people who support,
Okay.
who are the farmers, to have the knowledge and skills in the good agricultural practices so that they can do it on themselves when we go.
Okay.
Two, we ensure that we equip them with necessary tools and skills, including post-harvest equipments, so that they're able to handle their food produced, but also given that they need to sell it in the market so that they can earn an income, link them to the market as well as financial institutions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the standout success stories or biggest achievements that RDO has achieved in line with the mission?
In line with the mission, I would say that I just want to start from 3 outstanding ones.
Okay.
There are some people who were chased from town here in Kigali, who were street vendors and beggars, and they were chased and went to the rural areas.
Okay.
We found them and transformed them into professional farmers. Actually, these are prominent business people in the rural areas. We have 3 of them. 2, we have people who are good farmers. They have increased their yields fine, but also they have gone into off-farm activities, and now they are able to bid for government tenders. 3, we have others that have developed into agro dealers. Yeah, so we have so many of them graduated from being beneficiaries also to supporters.
All right. Given the ever-evolving socio-economic landscape, how does Rwanda Development Organization adapt its strategies to ensure continued relevance and effectiveness in your programs?
First of all, we do 2 things. We do institutional capacity building. 2, we do our human capacity building. In terms of our human capacity building, we ensure that they have the capacities that is required to do their work, and also to mobilize the resources, because with an NGO world, you can't survive without resource mobilization. And secondly, if you have a weak institution, then you cannot sustain the organization. Now we have necessary equipments. We have our own offices that we have actually transformed from a single building to a multi-story building where we can also accommodate others. In so doing, we're able to generate resources that can sustain us when the donors are not around. Then there is this thinking out of the box. How do we take donors as the sole givers of money? Today, their funds are getting less and less. So you need to think out of the box to ensure that you have other sources of income. And so we are using local philanthropy, tapping into the private sector also resources. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. And talking about that, what is your approach to forming partnerships and collaborations, and how do they enhance your impact?
First of all, we collaborate with like-minded organizations that do understand our cause. And 2, we partner with the people whose problems we are able to solve. For example, if we are partnering with the private sector, we seek their resources, but also we are addressing some of their challenges that they have. For example, we are partners with BK, the Bank of Kigali. The Bank of Kigali has an insurance component. So for us to ensure that they support farmers who are our core constituency, we tell them, if you don't support the farmers, then they will not be able to buy your insurance coverage. The private sector, for example, here we have the African Improved Food. We tell them, if you don't support the farmers in a bid in order to get their inputs, they will not be able to produce enough for you to put into your factory, and then you go outside Rwanda to buy in dollars. So in so doing, they do the analysis of the risk, and then they give out. So we are trying to leverage on our knowledge and initiatives to ensure that they attract as many as possible on our side, so that they're able to work with us. Yeah.
That's amazing. With a focus on vulnerable groups, how do you ensure their inclusion is in decision-making processes, ensuring that interventions are truly tailored to their needs? How do you go about it?
First of all, we no longer call them beneficiaries.
Yes.
They are partners as well. And so usually what we do, we work with local government officials. we work with the vulnerable groups who are categorized in our socioeconomic grades, category 1, category 3, category 4. So we work with them through the local organizations, and then once they have been identified, then they are able to be brought up close and say, what do you need most? And whatever they need, given our means, we're able to work with them to have it addressed. However, let me remind you that we work in 4 sectors. Agriculture, so our intervention is agro-based. Also, we are in health. Likewise, we give our support in that sector. Yeah.
Okay. How do you...
And to ensure that, before I forget, and to ensure that it's not put to waste, they contribute also.
All right.
For example, in social protection, we ensure that when we give cows, when we give shelter, when we give direct support, they are also able to contribute into the project development in terms of giving ideas, also in terms of contributing resources towards that, either in kind or in cash. In kind, they use their labor. In cash, they contribute towards that.
Yeah.
By a certain proportion.
So how do you identify and prioritize the needs of these groups in the communities you serve?
Usually they have in the government development programs, we start from down at the village level. The village people design their own development programs. So it's upon those developed programs that we work on. But also they have to be reflected in the district development strategies. So whatever they did, they select and is reflected in the district strategies. Then these are the areas where we work on. And these are the areas where they feel they need our support.
And that's a very good strategy.
Yes.
In what ways does RDO's approach to social promotion differ or evolve based on the specific vulnerabilities of a community?
Yeah, that's a good question. Different approaches to different problems. For example, if they need water, the approach is we have identified the source of water, we have identified the technology to use to deliver the water. For us, we are bringing the technology, and then, for example, their contribution would be to excavate the trenches through which the pipes will pass. And when it comes to agricultural development in terms of food production, okay, we say we are giving you the technology, we are giving you the knowledge in terms of extension services, but you have to pay for your inputs, for the seeds, and then maybe we can support you with the fertilizers. So different approaches to different interventions.
Great. Looking at the bigger picture, Mr. Ribasira, how does supporting these groups contribute to the broader development agenda here in Rwanda?
Definitely it has contributed. Let me tell you that today agriculture sector contributes around 31% of the national GDP. And this is purely done by the farmers. So whatever we do to them to increase food production and productivity contributes to their overall GDP. And in terms of health that we support them, when we sensitize them towards better living conditions and not falling sick, then you have more time for labor, for work. In so doing, they contribute to national building because they are able to contribute maximum time for their efforts.
Okay, really good. And I want now to shift the focus to RDO's strategic objectives.
Yes.
All right. So setting clear objectives is the backbone of any successful organization. And with objectives like human and institutional capacity development and attaining food security, as you've talked to us about, how do you balance immediate needs with long-term goals?
One, we have our strategic plans.
All right.
Our strategic plans are the plans that we envisage to achieve in a longer time. Nonetheless, we have, from that one, we develop the action plans for a short time. So it is on those short time activities that we embark on at that time that contribute to the long-term goal. Nonetheless, we'll also look at the sustainability, institutional sustainability, so that we're able to be around to achieve those goals. In so doing, then we build the capacity of our institution so that we are there for some time to sustain and harness the achievements that we have made.
And balancing those two is a challenge actually many organizations grapple with.
Yeah.
And I would love to also discover, how do you measure impact in terms of the strategic objectives that you've set? Are there any key metrics or indicators you prioritize at RDO?
Yeah, we usually, for every interventions that we have, for every plan that we have, there are key performance indicators against which we measure our progress in the short time, in the longer term. So gradually and over time, these are the milestones and targets that we evaluate whether we have been able to achieve them or not. So in the middle of our plan, then we evaluate whether we were able to achieve what we do, whether there could have been some deviations, and then we redesign and we strategize to ensure that we're able to achieve that at the end of the period that we have planned.
So what are some of the short-term impact measurement tools or indicators?
This is in terms of crop yields that we are able to achieve. This is in terms of the number of people that have been able to graduate from poverty. This is in terms of people that have diversified from agriculture to non-off-farm interventions. This is in terms of the people that we are able to reach and support. Also, this is in terms of what our institution was able to acquire and attain over that period of time. That also tells how much we're able to be successful.
Good job, Eugene. And considering the dynamic nature of development, how often does RDO revisit and adjust these strategic objectives?
We usually have a 5-year strategic plan.
All right.
And after every year, we review, we plan for 1 year, 2 years, then 5, like I have said. And annually we review whether we are still on track or not. And then we reschedule redesign our interventions.
Okay.
Yes. And ensuring that we are within the scope of the budget that we had planned.
Yeah, yes. Very important. Yes. So staying dynamic and responsive is very crucial in this ever-evolving development landscape. Can you talk to us about any partnerships or collaborations that have been particularly impactful in achieving your objectives?
Yeah, I would say that we have been able to achieve the success that we've already registered because of the partnerships that we have had with several stakeholders.
That's true.
We are able to work with donors. These are development partners that were able to support our interventions. 3, there is private sector that now have come on board because given that, like I mentioned before, given the shrinking bag of the donors, financial bag that is shrinking, then we are trying to adjust and focus on the private sector for local philanthropies so that we can leverage their support to support the communities.
Okay.
Also, I would say the government of Rwanda that is supporting civil society organizations in the areas where they have the expertise that the government requires. So for us, we are experts in agriculture and environment protection. So we are seeing regular demand for our services from the government to contribute towards their plans. Yeah.
So I want to know about your future aspirations and maybe a general outlook as we draw close to the conclusion of this conversation. So looking ahead is quite essential to ensure continued impact and relevance. Where do you envision Rwanda Development Organization in the next decade in terms of influence and impact?
I am seeing RDO that has a transformational agenda, leveraging the digital era and the new philanthropic landscape that is emerging in Rwanda to drive our agenda in the future.
Okay. Yeah. And are you preparing yourself for the challenges and opportunities that the future might bring?
Definitely there are challenges, nonetheless there are also opportunities. There are challenges, climate change challenges, we have wars, we have epidemics, but there are also opportunities. Opportunities that there is the digital era that has come in, that has helped us to use least to attain most, but also there is a new philanthropy landscape that is emerging in Rwanda that we are going to tap in to support our interventions.
Yeah.
Also, we shall leverage the capacity that RDO has acquired over time to be more competitive, more than we have been.
And they say
that we have grown.
Yeah, they say being prepared is half the battle won. So in your view, what role will technology, something that you've mentioned, in innovation play in RDO's future projects and initiatives? What specific role?
The specific role is that it will enhance our efficiency into what we have been doing. In terms of time, it will take us shorter time, use less to achieve most, but also it will also contribute to, for example, we've been using so many field officers to do our extension services. Now we are seeing gradually reducing on the numbers because of the technology, and so we look forward to using the technology to achieve most from what we are doing.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, my pleasure.
And the future is, the present and the future is digital.
Yes.
And leveraging technology is the way forward.
Yes.
So lastly, if there is one message or aspiration you'd like to share with the next generation regarding development and community upliftment, what would it be?
The future of Rwanda is bright, but it will rely heavily on its people. So we need to build the capacity of our people so that they become competitive nationally, regionally, and internationally. So that we are able to leverage their capacity and resources. If they are international staff, then they can repatriate their resources back to Rwanda. If they are here, they are able to use their technology because they understand it more than we do with the old generation. And so they are likely to do much better than we did, given that they know and understand and use technology more than we do. And we have achieved this where we are because of the rudimentary methods that we have been using. Nonetheless, achieving most, they can achieve more.
Thank you so much for carving time out of your very busy schedule to be with us today. But before I let you go, how does it feel to be a member of the East Africa Philanthropy Network?
It makes me proud.
Because
previously we thought that philanthropists are people who have a lot of money, but we have come to learn that you don't need to have a lot to be a philanthropist. As long as you have the will and the zeal to support. That makes me proud.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ribasira, for your time, and I'm looking forward to more spaces like this so that we can shape the narrative of philanthropy. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you for watching this episode. My name is Purity Mumo. These are the Ubuntu Stories of Impact. See you in the next episode.